So guys, welcome back to the channel. So, not the video I expected to be doing, but one that needs to be done. One that, I don't probably need to come on here. I've not got anything really to kind of prove to anyone, but I just want to, obviously I've taken you guys on a journey, and you guys obviously following through on Instagram or YouTube as well, and I want to kind of address this because I think now the dust is kind of settled, and I feel like I'm in a place now where I can kind of openly talk about things, and things still aren't amazing, but I can definitely talk about things now, and I think there's something that a lot of people can take from this, whether that be competitive bodybuilders, anyone, and I think like it's important that I touched upon this, and if anyone's had this kind of experience or anyone can take something from it, then do. So obviously, I'm in Dubai, so you think like, whoa, what's this guy doing in Dubai? Okay, well, reason being, obviously, I'm not competing anymore in 2023, and this is something that I want to obviously address on this video. But first things first, I want to thank everyone who's supported the channel, the YouTube, anyone who's supported obviously me through Instagram or message or whatever it is that it may be. And I just want to put that out straight away. But I want to get into the nitty gritty now of why I chose not to compete, and I want to take things back to way back to last year. So I want to take things back to me getting off stage in Alicante in 2022. I came sixth at the Amateur Olympia, which probably isn't a bad placing, realistically, from how big that show is. But I set myself a huge target. Then I said, right, the time I get on stage is going to be within a year. I'm gonna turn pro. Like that was all I gave a shit about, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to achieve that goal straight away. Work with, in my opinion, one of the best in the business, coaches wise, and still obviously work with him to this day, and I've got a very, very close bond that we've built in the last 12 months. And for me, that was it. I was like, right, no, you're competing in a year, and you're gonna make the necessary changes for a full off-season phase, and you're gonna get back on stage in that year, and you are going to be the guy to beat, and that was always the goal. That was always the target. We set up on that target. The off-season progress was phenomenal. I committed to the off-season. I loved it. I committed to the full process and absolutely loved it. And then transitioned into a prep. And initial stages of prep, like, absolutely loved it. Was in a great state, physically, mentally, feeling on top of the world. Business was good, life was good, and I was in a position where sort of as prep started to get on, and I didn't address probably mentally how I was feeling. I didn't speak to anyone about it. Didn't speak to my partner about it or my fiance about it. Didn't speak to my coach about it. Didn't speak to mum or dad about it. Didn't speak to anyone about it. And everything was so good in my life, and still is. And like, business was fantastic. I achieved one of my big goals, which was something I wanted to achieve from a monetary standpoint, and that was great. And bought something physically which I really wanted to kind of buy, and I did that, and I was really like, but it didn't give me kind of any real like happiness, and like things just started to just feel within myself like I was becoming kind of more and more in a bit of a weird kind of depressive state, and it was weird. I was eating, sleeping and training. That was all I was doing. I was in my own routine. I was around doing the same stuff at the same time every single day, which in the past has never really been an issue for me. But for some reason now, like, I just got almost in a rut quite early on in my prep, in terms of from a mental standpoint. I just wasn't feeling the best on a day-by-day basis. I was going into the gym and I just wanted to get the job done. I was doing my cardio, and like, I'd set up all these plans in terms of with the full YouTube series. I'd set this time frame. I'd already booked everything in terms of Italy, because I was like, right, now I've said I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. Push through. Like, this is prep. And as prep continued and we pushed through, like the feelings in my own head almost just got worse. It was to the point where like I'd be checking in, and in the gym I'd be looking the best I'd ever looked. But it got to a point where the latter stages of check-ins, I'm always be putting like a brave face on to be like almost think to myself, convinced myself I was feeling good, even though I wasn't, if that makes sense. I was looking at pictures and I was just like pleased with how I looked, but I almost didn't care, which was so weird. I'd never experienced that before. Like in previous preps, if I was gonna get on, like I'd look way worse than what I looked this year. Yeah, I'd be like, fuck, you're gonna smash this out. You're gonna smash this out, like yeah, like and for me, it was never part of the expenditure, the diet, the cardio, anything like that. Like I've never cheated on a diet in my life, and I never would. I know how it feels to get in shape. I know what prep endures, but this was a totally different, weird feeling. It was like to the point where I didn't. The end goal of being like the pro card or whatever, I knew how close it was in my grasp, but I didn't really care. I just wanted to like almost get away from it all and sort my own shit out and like feel good in myself again and get out of this mental state that I was in, which I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. But now I've broken things down, which is why I've now done this video. Like I kind of understand what it was, and it was from numerous different things that probably was why it wasn't the right time for me to go almost balls deep into a contest prep. But me being the stubborn me, I didn't want to tell anyone about how I was feeling. I don't want to. I just want to push through with the prep because I'd said I was going to do it. I had to do it because I said I was going to do it. I'd given myself my word. I'd put it out on social media, which is the first thing, social media pressure, which I succumbed to 100%. Like, there's no doubt about it. I succumbed to that, and like that's daft, and it is. But 100% I did, because I was telling the world what I was doing on a day-by-day basis, saying, you know, X weeks out, which gives a certain anxiety, potentially, which I'd never experienced before, but it did in this prep, as to what I was going to do. I was working with, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the game right now. I didn't want to let him down, because I knew that what could be achieved with him this year would have been phenomenal, and like I didn't want to let him down, although I was feeling almost a certain way, as in like a certain mental state and a certain state where I was getting the job done, but I almost wasn't in that right frame of mind to prep. I didn't really care how I looked, if that makes sense, as long as I was impressing him. That's all I cared about, because at the end of the day, it was almost to the point where I wanted it to just get it done and get the card, and then like that was it, just me done. I wouldn't compete again and get away from everything. Whereas that's not the mindset you should have. You should be loving the process. You should be loving, like, you shouldn't be in a depressive state. You should be absolutely loving waking up every day and getting after it and getting after the goal. And this was like even like 6-7 weeks out before I was even feeling the depths of prep. Like I was still feeling a certain kind of way, which was strange. But yeah, fast forward things, obviously onto the kind of the last stages of contest prep, when things do start to get even tougher. I think that did make the mindset worse in terms of with that, you know, things that we do as bodybuilders, things from a hormonal standpoint, things that are coming to play, i.e. anabolics, etc. These are all going to have an impact, and the things obviously were getting worse, and I knew I needed to address this. But I knew mentally, I was like, you need to address this after you've got the job done, man. Like, get the fucking job done. At the end of the day, like that's what I've always done. That's what I always will do. But it got to a point where one day, like I think everything kind of hit me. And I've already talked about the social media pressure. That was one pressure of wanting to do it for not just myself, but for the coach who I'd worked so closely with, who's absolutely phenomenal and someone who I'll never leave, in terms of if I ever do decide to go down obviously the competitive route, if I did ever again, but I'll touch upon that later in this video. But as well, like a big thing for me was like not being able to be supportive to my other half, who was heavily pregnant with what will be our first child. Like, and I thought, oh, I'll get the prep done and everything's going to be great afterwards because I'll have completed prep. But I was just absolutely, like, I was in my own world in terms of like in my own mental state that I was in, plus that with being in prep and not wanting to even speak to many people anyway, and you're very like unemotional and you don't really want to be like touching your partner, and like honestly, like it gets to that point, trust me, when you're getting in shape, I get very within myself, and it was way worse this time because it was in my own head anyway. But I couldn't be supportive with her, like, which when I broke it down, I was like, Alex, what are you doing? Like, just, you need to be there for your other half. Like, you need to, and I couldn't be, and that was another huge factor here. And obviously, I've covered the other factors, I think. But fast forward on to, like I said, on that one day, everything just kind of came to a stand really, and came to a fall where I knew I was about 3 weeks out, three weeks out from the regional that I was going to do, just under maybe, and 4 weeks out, just under from the pro qualifier, which was the big goal here. We didn't really care about the regional; it was just the pro qualifier because that's all we cared about was the card. And I woke up one morning and it all just hit me from. And it was a terrible day. Like, those close to me know like how bad that day was, and I'm not going to go into the details of it, but those people kind of know how bad. And I kind of made the call there and then, because it wasn't something that, prep's getting tough, I don't want to diet anymore, I don't want to do. I'm just going to put the towel in. I'm tired. Like, those feelings had come and stayed for a long period of time. Like, I can deal with the tiredness, I can deal with the diet, but this was way deeper from a mental aspect. I need to remove myself from the prep situation, which is making everything tenfold worse. Like, I couldn't be there to support my other half. My work, I was mentally, like, it was very, very, very mentally, like, challenging to even provide the quality of service that I wanted to provide to my clients. Although I still believe that I did that was something that was suffering, which had never suffered before. But because I was in this kind of mindset, I was like, whoa, like, and as well for myself, like, I was just, all aspects of my life I just was not enjoying. Like, for some reason I just felt like everything was just, there was nothing in me, there was no emotion in me, and there was and I needed to get out of it. I needed to sort this stuff out. I needed to mentally get away and totally reset. I needed to totally reset to a point where I knew I was ready to prep again. I knew I was in that position where I was like, right, I'm desperate to prep, which, although I was in a great state after the off season, the reason why I was prepping is because I was like, no, you need to prep. Like, you need to get this card in, particularly when we got the news when the baby was coming. You need to get that in before the baby comes, because then, like, it's like that. You just basically, you need to get it done, Alex. Before, that's what I was telling myself. You need to get it done before the baby's here. So, yeah. But on that day, everything kind of hit a fall, and I knew that it was right for me to call it there and then. And I did. Like, there's a lot of stuff for me that I knew I should have addressed it earlier. I should have given, for one, my other half the respect when, as soon as I was feeling a certain way, I should have pulled that way earlier from the prep and sorted my own shit out, but I'm too stubborn to do that. I thought that, like, no, I need to go through with this, because this is going to provide so much more to us and our lives if I can achieve this goal, which maybe to a certain extent be true, but probably not. Like, at the end of the day, like, what's going to drive my business is my own personal brand image, yes, which doesn't have to be on to wear a pair of board shorts and get judged by 9 people on a stage. And that what's going to drive that is my quality service that I give to my clients and the brand that I'm within on that. But yeah, I knew that, like, I needed to give back. I needed to give back to her, but I needed to be honest with her, and I needed to be honest. Obviously, I should have been honest with the guy I was working with, my coach, probably earlier on. But again, I wanted to do it so bad for him. I almost put my own feelings to the side here, but they needed to be addressed. And I have no regrets about pulling out. This is when I know that, like, and I don't want to be the guy that I never make wrong decisions, but when I make a decision on something, more often than not, for me personally, when it's something that I wanted to go for, I know it's the right call, and more often than not it is. Like, I have no regrets about pulling out from the shows this year. I have no regrets. Like, I knew that if I'd had a week later and I had a few days where I'd just taken downtime to think, and I'd be like, oh, you know what, I've had a bit of food back in me, oh no, you know what, I'm actually alright. I knew that, like, no amount of food, no amount of, I needed to sort my own stuff out. which is why I'm here in Dubai now. Like, one of the reasons anyway why I'm here in Dubai. I need to take time away. I need to take some time off from work for one, which I've done a little bit of work out here, but I'm taking a little bit of downtime now. I needed to be in my own kind of like space. Now, in an ideal world, my other half would have come out with me, my fiance would have come out with me, and we would have spent some time together. She's in a position where realistically she doesn't want to fly, and we don't want to take that risk. So she's unfortunately obviously had to stay home, but I needed to get away for my own space. So like, I've got come out here for 10 days, spend times with close friends, big man behind the mic, spent some good times with him. Obviously, Ben Bray, who's like, we probably a couple of years back we weren't like best mates. We were good friends, but he's closely becoming someone who's very close to me. So spend some good time with him has been fantastic, and get some just totally get away from that prep mindset and just come out here and just enjoy almost training again, taking downtime again, enjoying not being on a structured regimented meal plan, but just eating well. Like, I'm eating good quality foods, I always will do, but not having that pressure of the prep and the goal, and just getting away from everything, a new environment, and just chilling out, being able to get on the beach and do my morning walks and in a different environment, and just get away, mentally reset, refresh. And now I just can't wait I know that this has been the right thing, because I just can't wait to get back. I can't wait to be there to be supportive and be the actual like loving fiance that I need to be for when the newborn comes, and then from there as well back into obviously growing the business and mentally feeling fresher. I do feel much better for doing it. Would I sit here and say, oh, I feel amazing again, great, I'm ready to go back into prep? No chance, no way, like no way. I still need to be in a position where I'm happy in myself, and I'm in a position where everything on the family side is great, because at the end of the day, the stage is going absolutely nowhere. So if I ever in the future, like years down the line, whatever it is, did make that decision where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to have a trial of it again, then it's going nowhere. That's going to be there. But the biggest thing for me now is putting family first, which is going to be my own personal family, like the three of us, not just myself and my partner, or what was years ago my girlfriend. Now it's my fiance, wife to be, and a newborn baby. So that's my priority, and my focus is her and that. My other priority is my business, and my business is my baby at the end of the day. And it's, of course, my business is within Ben Bray Coaching, which is what's soon to be, obviously we're going to be doing the rebrand, which is going to be very exciting. But those two things are my absolute priority now, to make sure that they are as what they should be. And obviously with that, my own mental health has to come first. I can't be in a position where I'm not feeling within like how I should be feeling. I'm not feeling within myself. I'm hiding the way I'm feeling to people who are close to me. When I'm just feeling absolutely terrible, but I'm not telling anyone. I need to be in a position where mentally I'm so happy within myself that I can give more to my other half, my family. My business is going to thrive off that if I'm happy within myself. And then from there, it's a case of like, actually, then if you're in a position where all those three things are absolutely thriving, like, let's go then potentially chase some goals that you want to achieve. Yeah, great, but like that has to take a back burner. Those three things have to come before any kind of contest prep, because I was finding myself digging myself a hole to the point where like it was just, I was in such a bad mental state that I couldn't carry on with that prep. So that's the reasons why. That's the ins and outs of why I've pulled it, and I don't feel bad for doing that whatsoever. It's like I said, the stage is going nowhere. So then this leads me on to talk about like part of the reason again why, and it was close people around me said, you know what, you should talk out about that. There's people who I really respect, who are high level like pro athletes in the gym who said you should talk about this, and like people close to me said you should talk about this. So I have, and I think like anyone who's feeling certain things that I'm talking about, like in terms of depressive state and like not feeling with like just not feeling like right. And I'm not talking about you just feeling tired, a little bit moody, etc. I'm talking about like when you're not yourself for a very prolonged period of time and things are getting worse. Like what I'd say is just talk to people who are close to you about how you're feeling. And if you feel like you're doing something for probably the wrong reasons, and that's potentially being the driver or the causer of certain psychological state, then pull back from that, and don't be afraid to pull yourself out of certain situations that you might be in. If you feel like mentally you need to do that at the right time, like it's been a massive eye-opener for me from a coaching aspect as well. There's a massive difference between an individual who's on prep and is just tired and they're mentally sound, but they're just tired and they're cheating on the diet. And like there's a huge difference between that and an individual who is mentally in a very, very dark place. And I'm talking about from a depressive standpoint, and just they shouldn't be in that prep. There's two totally different like mindsets there. And for me as a coach, I've understood the latter, which is the reasons why I've pulled things. But then I also know that if I've got individual athletes who are probably feeling certain ways on prep, I'm going to dive deeper into that and actually go into the nuts and crannies of why they're feeling what they're feeling. Because if it is just the first one, okay, we can understand that. Let's push through, let's dig. But if it's something way, way deeper, then it's a case of like, right, okay, we need to take a step back here. And I think that's really, really important, particularly when we talk about like bodybuilding and the judging that comes with that. We're getting judged at the end of the day. The social media pressure that comes with that, and all the social media that all bollocks that surrounds it, let's be honest, in the world right now. So if anyone is feeling a certain way, like as well, like for me, I'm always open to talk to people about that, and I'm very, very open with talking to anyone who knows me as a person. I hope thinks I'm an alright bloke. I like to be open and honest with people. I'm not like the big bodybuilder, muscular bodybuilder you see on Instagram. Like I'm very much like, I'll talk to anyone in the gym, I'll talk to anyone anywhere. So yeah, if you are feeling a certain way, what I'll always say is speak to people close to you, but just talk to people about that, and just be open and honest always, and don't feel like you've got to do something to try and potentially please others, or because you're and it's actually just making you worse and worse and worse. That's something I will say. Do it for you. Right, what's next for me then? So this is something I wanted to obviously touch upon in this video as well. And obviously, like, I've come out to Dubai, I've taken some good downtime. For me, what's next is first and foremost, obviously, being a family man again. Continuing to focus on my physique development, because that's something I love. That'll never go. It's not a case of I'm stepping away from training and now I'm stepping away from, I'm just going to become someone who just sits down and just coaches and just does. I will always be chasing a physique goal. I will always want to be getting a better physique. I'll always be a bodybuilder at the end of the day. I love bodybuilding. Whether that be competitive, non-competitive, like I will always be after a certain physique, and I'll always be chasing that goal. So that's something that I'm going to be focusing on, my own physique development. So my family life, my own physique development, the business, growing the brand. That's going to be really, really exciting. Coming the back end of this year is the rebrand for Benbray Coaching. And for me, my focus point is for us to be the leading coaching brand in the world in terms of the standard of results that we provide. And that being obviously body transformation results, but we're also looking to, you'll see we're looking to about jumping into the competitive scene as well. So you'll see that all come through. But obviously first and foremost, the body transformations that we provide are unrivaled, and we want to continue to do that. So we want to, that's going to be really, really exciting, is the rebrand. For that, I'm pushing my own, obviously, personal coaching within that. And then as well, touch upon the YouTube. The content's going to come. The content's going to keep coming, guys. That's something that, although the prep series has added probably an unwanted pressure with that we only kind of realise now, it's something I've still, the response that we've had from YouTube, I have really loved to see that. Like, to get thousands of views on videos and stuff like that has been awesome. So For me, that content's still going to keep coming. We're going to be doing collabs. I'm going to be providing fantastic educational content. I'm going to be open and honest and talking about the different phases that I'll be going through next, because my physique development will not stop. And so the YouTube's going to be coming. And finally, the question that you probably all want me to answer is, but when are you going to get back on stage and take the pro card? And it's a good question. And all I'll say is on that, I'm not going to be a liar and say, no, that's me done with competing forever. Like, I'm never going to ever even consider it ever again, because you don't know what you're going to want to do later on in life. So what I won't say is that I'm definitely not going to be competing again. Will it be anytime soon? Absolutely no chance. It definitely won't be. There's things that I need to get right before I'd even consider that. But yeah, I think if I ever did, it would be something where I would definitely be keeping it to myself and be keeping it to people close around me. I wouldn't be putting any kind of pressure on it, and it would be something where I would just rock up on a stage in tip-top condition, and it would be when the buzz come back that I used to have for wanting to achieve that end goal of the pro card. When that buzz comes through, to want to prep for that, I'll just jump on a stage, and I'll say it now with confidence. I'll just jump on a stage and take the win, because because it's never been an issue with confidence with me and my physique, and I know that I've got what it takes to do it. It's a case of I just need to sort out this first and make sure that everything is good in my life, and for me to then be able to prep. But yeah, you won't know about it until it happens. But trust me, when it happens, you will know about it. Trust me, you will know about it. But that'll come later down the line when I'm ready to commit to that process once again. But yeah, in the meantime, it's just going to be a case of continual physique development, continue to provide unrivaled results from a coaching standpoint. And with that as well, become the best dad I can possibly be, which is number one for me. Become the best possible dad that I can be, because that's going to be the next part of my life, and I actually can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And yeah, that's it, guys. So I hope you've obviously got a bit more of an understanding now of the reasons behind why I've done what I've done. And like I said, I've got no hard feelings. I don't need to do this video, but I think it's just probably something that people can take from it, and an understanding people can take from it as well, like if they're going through something similar or felt a certain way, or they just want to know anyway. Like, I've not gone into it too in depth in terms of like the day to day and some of the stuff that happened at the end. But I think it's important that you understand on this journey where we're now going from here. Because it's not going to be the stage, but that's all right. That's absolutely fine. It's still going to be continual development in all aspects of life, and that will never stop. That will never stop. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and tune in for the next episode. There's going to be a lot of content to come. Trust me. We've got videos lined up, training videos. The next one's going to be an educational video drop, so keep your eyes out for that. And there's going to be a cool collab here in Dubai. You'll probably be able to guess who it is. There's a cool collab coming from Dubai, so watch out for it, guys.